decided that it was a little weird and wanted to get to the bottom of it. One day I'm in his backyard with him and we're hanging out, and he hits me with some weird news I didn't expect to hear when I came over that day. He says that the reason he doesn't know what his dad does for a living is that every time he asks his dad gets like really weird and sketchy about it, which is a little bit bizarre. Like, imagine your own kid being like, hey, what do you do for a living? And you just start acting like you hit a body in a dumpster in like 1974, dude. You are Ted Bundy, they got the wrong guy. Like, genuinely, man, if your kid asks what you do for a living, it's not the time to ask sketchy. But regardless, at this point he hasn't told me what he's done that's sketchy, so I'm like, okay, well, can you explain to me a little bit? Because saying your own dad is sketch is just a little bit bizarre. If for some reason people in high school tend to exaggerate their parents, you know, like, oh my god, dude, my mom is like literally crazy and she just like won't let them stay out till 4 a.m. on a school night. Trust me, I've been there, you know, I've been there, definitely. My parents were annoying sometimes, but you get what I'm saying, dude. I feel like when people are like, dude, my dad's so sketchy, it's because, you know, he doesn't like Krispy Kreme donuts, which, yes, is sketchy, people should. But I did want some examples because I'm not just trying to believe this stuff and look like a dum-dum. So he says a week ago they were eating dinner, and he asked his dad what he did for a living, and his dad, like, literally chokes on his food and asked him why he wanted to know so bad, and then, like, snapped that it was none of his business and to not ask again. Which, you know, is a very weird response to your kid asking what you do for a living, dude. Hey, Dad, what do you do for work? Shut up, kid, none of your business. I mean, I guess I'm not a parent. I don't know how I would react to my kid asking me what I do for a living. Working, which obviously is a pretty bizarre schedule, and that combined with the fact that he's acting all sketchy and like refuses to tell anyone what he does has his son a little bit curious. But it gets even sketchier, dude, because he's asked his dad if he has any co-workers, and he said, nope, I'm the only one that works for me. And he asked his mom what his dad does, and apparently she doesn't know either, or like isn't too sure, because she gets different explanations sometimes. So keep in mind, his own mom doesn't know, his dad doesn't have any co-workers, he's going places at 2 a.m. and he doesn't work a lot during the day. I'm not saying that, like, there's a reason to ever stalk your own dad, but if there is, this is a pretty sketchy situation. Like, you can understand why we were all a little bit suspicious. So he decides he wants to figure out what his dad does for a living, but he wanted my help for some reason, probably because I'm the only one with crackhead energy enough to, like, wake up at 2 a.m. to go figure out some Scooby-Doo stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, once you get me curious, you know, I've gotta send it. Like, oh my god, yeah, what if your dad secretly is like Pablo Escobar who escaped Colombia and had a body double? Yes, it's very unlikely, but I don't know, dude. I love trying to get to the bottom of it, figuring out the mystery. I'm basically Shaggy. I've got the hair for it, you know, I've always got the munchies, take that how you will, but heck yeah, I'm down. So my friend and I decide that we're gonna follow his dad one night and see where he goes to work, you know. I'm doing air quotes, I always do that, and I forget that you guys can't see me, or see me, sorry, and like I feel really dumb after, so my bad. There were air quotes around work because obviously there's some sketchy situations among us. So at this point we obviously need a way to track his dad because we can't like follow him, and I don't live there. Like us backing out of the driveway at the exact same time kind of defeats the entire purpose of trying to like figure out what's going on without him knowing. And I don't live there, and considering his dad is going to work at 2 a.m., I'd rather not have to sleep in the bushes outside my friend's house and just like wait for 2 honks of the horn to know it's all clear for me to come out. So we start brainstorming how we're gonna like keep track of his dad, you know, at night just to see what's going on. And we come up with the idea of using an old iPad Touch and, or not iPad, iPod Touch, sorry, like the old ones, the colored generations where it was like the red casing with the white screen, you know, there was the blue ones, the green ones, all those different colored ones, yeah, like we had one of those that was pretty old, like it was new at the time, but it was already like a couple years old. And, you know, as I said, my friend was kind of falling out. So he had a new one, and he's like, yeah, we can use that. And I had a portable charger. So we decided to put that in the trunk of his dad's car. And then my friend also had a hotspot at the time, like one of those small ones that the boomers used to like hook up their Blackberries. And we put that in the trunk too. So it was connected to the internet, and we added it to a Find My Friends account, you know, with just us. And yeah, sure, like we weren't the CIA, obviously. Like we didn't have any government funding. We weren't out here being big brain, massive geniuses or anything. But for two idiots trying to like follow someone's dad, it was pretty impressive. Okay, for us, for somebody who makes story times on the internet, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of credit because I don't know. I was an engineer for a day. There you go, Mom. I'm not going back to college, but one time I used an iPod Touch to stalk someone's dad, so there's that. I also don't really consider it stalking because it was his dad and like it was his idea, bro. It's not like any of this was my idea. I was just kind of along for the ride. I was like, yeah, sure, I've been roped into stupider things. Why not? So the first night, his dad doesn't go anywhere. The same doesn't happen for like 1-2 nights. I don't remember how many nights it took exactly, but it was probably like 2-3 nights down the line from us originally putting the iPod in the trunk with like our little tracking system, our ghetto tracking system. After that, though, I get a text at 2 a.m. asking if I was ready, and I'm responding like half asleep because I had my ringer on full blast, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm putting on like my pants backwards trying to get ready to like go do this thing. Anyways, by the time he gets to my house, I'm a little more woken up, and I'm excited at this point because like obviously when I was a kid I looked up to James Bond a lot. Who didn't? He was cool as heck. And like I'm literally gonna be a spy right now. I'm about to be an A1 steak sauce level spy going around figuring out mysteries, dude. Maybe figuring out that his dad is like an evil mastermind, Dr. Doofenshmirtz level villain. That would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? How do you deal with the fact that your own dad is Dr. Doofenshmirtz? Oh no. So my friend comes to pick me up and I ask him where his dad is, and he said he's behind a home improvement store that happens to be blue. And obviously that's a pretty weird place to be at 2 a.m. So we go and we turn off our headlights like we're creeping the car, and sure enough, dude, his dad's car is behind this shopping center, specifically this home improvement store, and there's another car next to it. And this is like a really big shopping center, and the main store in it is this like home improvement store. So we get out and start kind of investigating, trying to figure out if they're like hiding somewhere. Keep in mind we're behind the store, so there's like, you know, the things that they put dumpsters in, they kind of take these cinder blocks and like use them to wall off the dumpster, so that way, I don't know, people can't steal the dumpster. I don't know, but you guys know what I'm saying. We're kind of creeping around, and like we start going towards the door on the back of this building, which is in between the little like dumpster building and the door, and in the gap between there's like nothing to hide behind. And as we're creeping out there, dude, the door swings open, and we see like people coming out, like we hear people coming out. So we turn around and like dive back behind the little dumpster building. I scuffed my knee up pretty bad. It was not pretty fun. But obviously we like have to hide because there's people coming out. We don't really know what's going on. And as we dive behind the dumpster and start peeking out, praying that we haven't been seen, we see his dad and like this ginormous bald dude, like this ripped, tall, bald dude just kind of walking, and they're talking, and we overhear just a little bit. So his dad and this dude are talking, and we overhear something, and he says something like, you know, we've got a couple more buildings, and then like, I'll pay you $15,000 for the night. Now, I don't know about you, dude, but the idea of a boss making enough money to pay $15,000 a night to somebody working for him is like pretty bonkers to me, okay? Oh yeah, your cut of the money I'm making, 15 grand, like, So they leave, and me and my friend get back in his car, and I ask if he recognized the other dude, and he says no. So obviously, since we're stupid and teenagers, we start like doing all these crazy conspiracy theories about it, and we really can't settle on a theory. We're like, well, maybe your dad's a drug dealer, maybe they launder money, maybe he's in the mafia, like, obviously just coming up with all these crazy theories, because listen, I don't know about you, but like, come on, we don't know if it's illegal right now, but doing it secretly in the middle of the night with tons of money on the line and like getting weird about it when anybody asks about it is pretty sus behavior. At this point, we are 99% convinced that his dad has to be wrapped up in something sketchy because he's acting sketchy, dude. And like, yeah, meeting in the back of a parking lot behind a shopping center and like creeping into the building and coming out and talking about the thousands and thousands of dollars you're making in a single night is kind of like evil villain behavior. That's how Syndrome from The Incredibles got his start, definitely. But whatever, we can't settle on a theory, they're just all kind of floating around. And obviously, at the same time, we're also getting a little bit into it because we're like riding the adrenaline high of feeling like ninjas or spies because we had basically just successfully done like a little spying operation, tracked him down, like discovered all these things hidden behind a dumpster. We were feeling pretty cool about it too. So my friend decides, he's like, look, that was great, but do you mind if we follow him again? And so that way I can like confront him and ask him questions. And you know, I'm like, I don't know if that's the best idea. And he's like, Ryan, please, like I need to know, like this just made my curiosity even worse. Now I really need to know and I don't want to do it alone. So I decide, because I'm an idiot, to like, yeah, sure, why not? What's the worst that could happen? That's always what they say. Hey guys, I'm gonna stop the video for a second. On screen is an Xbox gift card. I give one of these away in a video every day. Whoever gets the code gets the code. But basically it's a way for me to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you should press the button. I guess like 80% of you that are subbed don't subscribe, so you know, come on, press the button. It's free. You got nothing to lose. I literally give away money every day, so YOLO. Real talk though, I do really appreciate everyone that is subscribed. It means a lot, and yeah, I really do appreciate it. And also, take a look at this fantastic merch, dude. Oh my god, you get that on a shirt and I guarantee you that you'll be able to figure out what your dad does for a living. The merch link is also down below. Anyways, we commit to like following him again to, you know, figure out what's going on and turn this mystery job into reality, kind of take it out of the shadows like that Smash character that you haven't unlocked yet. You just kind of got to keep it going. Regardless, my friend starts telling everybody about his super sketchy dad because I think he just kind of, you know, wanted some attention from it, which is fine. No biggie. Like, I get it. That's why I tell stories on the internet, bro. Trust me. And as he's telling people, more and more people are like, dude, I want to come. I want to help. I want to help. And sure enough, by the end of the day, we have like 5 people that are willing to help us. So we're all talking now. And when you have 5 people kind of crafting a conspiracy theory, suddenly it's way easier to get like more and more ridiculous, dude. So we're all just kind of sitting around coming up with crazy theories about what it could possibly be. And the fact that like the dude he was with was ginormous didn't help either. Like if I was ever gonna come up in my head with, you know, oh, that's the type of guy that definitely throws people to the bottom of the lake with cinder block shoes. Like it would look like that guy, dude. It looked like a Hitman Absolution edit, but with steroids. So all 5 of us are kind of sitting around, and obviously everyone's pretty excited to like be involved in this because it was fun, dude. Like genuinely, we felt like we were spies trying to figure out some big mystery, and feeling a part of something is cool. Like, yeah, I understand. Obviously, we were just teenagers doing stupid things, but that's some of the most fun you could possibly have is when you and your friends are just like goofing off, having a good time. So for a few nights again, there's like nothing going on, but one night we all get a text, and only me and one other person reply. Like the whole 5 that originally were involved at 2 a.m. just didn't check their phones, and I can't blame them. I'm definitely a crackhead for being willing to do this stupid stuff, but whatever. Yeah, I get up at 2 a.m. again to send it, and all 3 of us end up getting in the car. I'll skip the details of all that and going down because, you know, we open the door and get in the car, and this time we go to his dad's location, and it's a different spot, and it's like a small shopping center, you know. It's definitely not anywhere near as big as the other one, which was like one of the biggest ones in town. This one has 3 small stores in it, and we see his dad in one of the buildings with the same guy, like the ginormous bald dude that we'd seen him with before, and they're just kind of standing there talking. And we're in the car just kind of looking in through the window because, you know, we didn't really want to, like, get caught. And my friend decides, he's like, I'm going to confront my dad. And I tell him, hey, I don't know if that's a good idea, but before he can listen to me or, like, even let me get a sentence out of my mouth, dude, he just hops out of the car and starts, like, running towards the shopping center where his dad is talking to this dude. So he's just storming towards the store, so me and the other kid wanting to help him, like, hop out and run after him. So we're all going towards this super sketchy situation. I'm really hoping that his dad isn't involved in a criminal enterprise right now, because I really don't want to end up in a barrel like the first episode of Ozark. Like, I'm trying to go home and sleep tonight and go to school tomorrow. And yeah, if his dad's involved in some sketchy stuff, then like all three of us just...
How do you know from winning to losing?
Doing sketchy stuff. Only one of us is his son, you know? Like, yeah, he's probably safe, but what's his dad gonna do if I show up looking like, hello, sir, I have no reason to do anything here, and I have just witnessed your crime. So my friend swings open the door and storms in all mad and starts, like, yelling at his dad, asking for his explanation, dude. And his dad pulls out a glizzy, and I'm not talking about a hot dog, and me and the other guy, like, hit the ground, but my friend just keeps yelling like it's perfectly normal, as if this is just, oh, yeah, another Tuesday, storming in at 2 a.m. to your dad, and he whips out the glizzy because he's, like, expecting you to be a robber or something. And finally, I hear his dad start yelling back like it's normal, and I'm still on the ground wondering, like, how the hell we got here, dude, which is probably fair enough if there ever was a time for me to be like, how did I get here? Now would be the time out of everything I've done. This is probably the time I was like, I should just not be here. Something about laying on the ground of, like, a small little shopping center at 2 a.m. while your friend and his dad are screaming at each other when you could be in bed wrapped up, like, going to sleep. It's just not as fun, dude, trust me. I'm still laying on the ground, and I guess his dad puts the glizzy away, and he tells us to get up, so we do. And his business partner, when we get up, looks, like, so confused, which definitely is fair enough. Like, imagine you're just doing business, man, and, like, these kids walk in. Oh, sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt your secret nighttime business with our Chuck E. Cheese birthday party where we're pretending to be spies. That's definitely our bad. Like, I can't blame them for being annoyed at our presence. And yes, we look like a bunch of idiots. Like, we run in, two of us kind of, like, fall to the ground, the other one's yelling at his dad. The bald guy's like, what have I done, huh? Do you know these kids? Like, should I call someone? Is this allowed? So I'm just kind of taking in the scene, and I realize that, like, obviously we are not supposed to be here. We're in the middle of a vape store, right? Which definitely is not my normal type of store. I actually don't vape. Hey, if you do, I guess power to you. It's just not my thing. We're in a vape store, man, and we're looking around. There's the bald guy who looks confused. There's me, the other kid, who definitely are terrified now because we just thought we're about to get blapped. There's my friend who's still looking pissed at his dad, and then there's his dad who looks so pissed, man. Like, he genuinely is looking like the anger emotion from Inside Out. You know, the red guy where his head is, like, popping off at all times? That's how angry he looks, man. And my friend is still pressing him, like, even with this much anger on his dad's face, he's like, I want to know what you do for a living. Like, you have to tell me. I'm entitled to know. Blah, 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 blah. And he's, like, really getting up in his dad's face about it. And, you know, it's not something I would do. But his dad is like, oh, you really want to know? Like, do you really want to know? And my friend is screaming yes. And his dad rolls his eyes and he starts, like, talking with a lot of sass in his voice, you know, like an old man who's about to make his son look very stupid levels of sass. And once your parent starts to get condescending, it's always terrifying because, you know it's about to hurt. And he starts explaining this, like, all pissed off, and he's saying that when I was your age, and he's pointing at his kid, I knew I wanted better, so I started saving, and when I was 25, I bought a commercial property, which, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically a shopping center, and then, like, you rent the shops out to businesses to make money back on the investment. It's a pretty good investment, you know, and he says that since then, he kept working really hard and kept investing and buying more and more, and now he has 15 different shopping centers and commercial developments that he owns, so he doesn't have to work, which would explain, obviously, the fat stacks of cash. 15 commercial properties is quite a hefty amount of bands. But beyond that, dude, it would also explain, like we're always behind shopping centers or in shopping centers. It's because he owns the building the home improvement store was in, and he owns this thing with the vape shop. And at this point, we're all feeling very, very stupid for doing this, you know, all the conspiracy theories that we had been coming up with, like, obviously now look stupid, because when you hear the real explanation, it's hard to pretend that, oh, maybe he's with the CIA and they're finding aliens makes any types of sense, because this is way more logical. But the only thing still bugging us, obviously, is, like, why he's doing it in the middle of the night, and his dad says that this guy is an old friend that used to do all the inspections for his building, but now he has a day job running his own business, so he's doing this on the side for, like, money, and since he's always helped him, his dad's willing to do it since it's the only thing he still has to do. So I guess his friend did property inspections, and at night there's no one in the store, so it's easier to do it, and he runs his own business. So my friend is like, okay, well then why do you act so sketchy whenever somebody asks what you're doing? Like, Why does mom not know? Why do I not know what you do for a living? Like, isn't that a little bit bizarre to you? And his reasoning was that he didn't want his son to be lazy and think that money was super easy to make, and because he knew he wasn't busy all the time, he thought if he, like, explained to his son how this worked, that his son wouldn't ever develop a work ethic, and he didn't want his son to be, like, one of those rich kids that was spoiled, and, you know, that's pretty admirable to me, considering how many spoiled rich kids I've bumped into throughout my life, dude. The idea of one of the parents being like, no, I don't want my kid to turn in a terrible version of everything that I once hated. Yeah, it was pretty refreshing, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, at this point, we all feel stupid, dude. We have a huge amount of egg on our face, but whatever. I apologize, and his dad obviously, like, kind of forgives us, but is still pretty weird about it. And after that, you know, as much as I would love to say the story has a happy ending, like, our friendship kind of ended after that, just because it was super awkward to go to his house. His dad didn't really like me after that, and I can't blame him, dude. He thought somehow that I roped his son into it. Not the case, dude. Not my idea. Not my idea at all, but